Okay, so we've done the yogurt, which we started cooking, which has been about 2 hours ago. I kind of took a break for a minute. But if you were doing this like bam, 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 bam without taking a break, you could probably all get it all done in about an hour and a half, maybe. You know, if you have your station set up and ready to go. But I sat down and chatted with the grand princess and the daughter for a little bit, and just took a little bit of a break. But now we're going to make some cheesecake bites, okay? And the first thing that you do now is the way that I do it, because I think for one, it's cheaper, it saves time, because I have an illness and it's hard for me to use my hands sometimes. They don't function right. I have to find methods that are just easier for me. I can't do things the way that I used to do them when I was really cooking in the kitchen. So what I do is, the first thing that you want to do, because it does save time to get this done and out of the way, I buy these little generic graham cracker crust, and then I just crush it. I just take it and break it in pieces, and they're usually 99 cents. It's the cheapest way to go. You know, you don't have to buy the graham crackers and the butter and mix all of that. This is the best way to do it. You just go buy a graham cracker crust that are 99 cents and then just break it up. And then you want to put that aside, and bam! Now, let's get started with some cheesecake mix. Okay, I am using whipped sour cream. I don't have the bars. We eat the whipped around here, so I'm just gonna go with it. I mean, if it works, it works. If it fails, it fails. At least we'll know, right? At the end of the Instapot bake or steam or whatever you want to call it, it will either be a success, an epic success, or an epic fail. But guess what? We'll learn as we go. So because I don't have all I have is the whipped stuff, we're gonna go with it. So you need 16 ounces, which would be, oops, sorry about that, which would be 2 bars of cream cheese, room temperature. Everything needs to be at room temperature. Your egg needs to be at room temperature. You want to keep it at room temperature, and if not, well, you know, it just works better if you can keep it at room temperature. But let's get started, okay? So we're gonna go, my egg's really not at room temperature, but that's okay. I had it out for a little bit and then put it up. Okay, so I'm gonna put my cream cheese in here. This is 1 8-ounce right here. And because it's already whipped, I'm not going to spend a lot of time whipping it, because I don't want to, you know, I think whipping it too much would be a little overkill maybe. All right, so there we go. Got that down. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pour my sugar. 1/3 cup of sugar. Remember, it's 16 ounces of cream cheese. I'm not using any low fat, or I'm using the full on cream cheese. You can use whatever you like, whatever you're used to. I know that there's special diets out there, but you can use what works for you. This recipe is the regular cream cheese. Okay, and then I'm going to take got a measuring. Oh, and I told you about the 16 ounces of cream cheese, 1/3 cup of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of, well, looky there, that just worked out perfect. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So must means I have been measuring that right. And make sure your hands are clean if you're gonna do it this way. All right, so stick that aside. I'm gonna go ahead and use the big boy right here. This is my KitchenAid right there. Gonna set this down, get this locked in here. Okay, and I just have the regular mixer, and I'm not gonna beat it like too fast or for too long. I'm just gonna cream that together, and then I'll toss my egg in there and make sure that's locked, And then just kind of make sure that it's kind of creamed in there together. I want to make sure that it picks up the sugars, or the sugar. Yeah, I don't hear the sugar no more, so I'm going to turn it back down. And I'm going to pour my egg in there, and I'm just going to let it mix till my egg gets incorporated. I don't want it to mix too much. I just want to mix it where the egg is in there. All right. So, there we go. Just what I needed. Nice and creamy, and smells, man, you can smell that cream cheese. And I can tell if it bakes well, I can already tell I'm gonna start using the whipped, because I really like how simple and easy that whipped up, and how it just blended the sugars real well and blended the egg real well. And all right, so we'll put that right there. Let me wash my hands. Alrighty, so I have a towel in the back of me, so I'm gonna take this out and mix it together. Trying to stay in the camera. Woo! Alrighty, almost had an accident there. Thank you, Lord, that didn't fall off. All right, so mixing that. Look how pretty that mix is. Look at that, just gorgeous mix right there. Okay, so we're gonna move over to the next station, so that way we can fill up our little silicone egg bite thingies and get ready to put them in the Instapot. So give me just a few seconds and we'll start filling them up. All right. Okay, so we've already got our mix, and I went ahead and put it in a cake bag that you put frosting in, so that way it'll be easier. I filled it up, so I will have to take out of the top for the first few, but then I'll be able to just squeeze it in there. Let me get a pair of scissors real quick. All right, because I forgot to cut the bottom. And so that just makes it easier for me. It might be a little messy, but I just think it's easier. Okay, now, because I cook with this often, sometimes your seals can hold in flavor. So I do have one seal set aside just for desserts. And so I went ahead and swapped out my seal that I use just for dessert, so that way it doesn't have any food taste or smells or anything like that. So, but if you don't have the extra seal, just make sure that you wash it out real good before you're doing a dessert with it, so it doesn't have any smell, and let it air out if possible. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick this guy right here. I'm gonna go ahead and pour in my water. I'm gonna pour in almost 2 cups of water into the big boy and let him sit there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our egg silicones here, and I'm going to spray it. Make sure that, you know, I probably just did overkill, but man, that stuff makes me cough. Then I'm going to take some of this, let's go ahead and put you down. So now I've got my cookie mix, and all I'm going to do is just sprinkle, just put some in there, just like that. I'm not gonna measure, just gonna put, I think I got a little bit too much in that one. And then just kind of press it down a bit, just like that. You know, and if it seems like it's a little dry, you can stick a little bit of butter in it, so that way that might help it stick a little better. Or you can just spray some of the Pam over it, and if it's dry, since we, you know, crumbled it up. And I am just going to spray a little bit of Pam on some of them that feel, it's not going to really affect the taste that much. It's just gonna help hold that in place. Okay, so looks like we've got these all nice and, see? Can you see that? And what we're going to do is take a scooper. I've got this little like melon scooper or cookie scooper. And then I'm just going to overfill it just a little bit and then stick it in there. And then like that right there. See? Easy peasy. Alrighty. And one more. I'll need a little bit more on that one. Oh, not that much, but all right. So leave that right there. Kind of drop it a little bit. Now it'll rise, but it won't rise that much. And I kind of want them full, so I'm going to add a little bit more on some of those that are looking a little shy of some good stuff. Okay, so all right, make sure that I get it nice because I kind of want them pretty, even though this would be the bottom. I still kind of want them pretty. Then just gonna sprinkle a little on top. Like that. Okay, and bam, there we go. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to put a paper towel over it so that way it will absorb the moisture, because I really don't want it, I don't want moisture getting in there if possible. And I'm going to wrap it with some foil right here. Get out of the way. And bam, sit that one down right here in this little bitty handy carrier thing. All right, and we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're just going to go ahead and spray it down right there. Put us some little graham crackers down so we can have us a good old graham cracker crust right there. And oh, that might be a little bit more. And then press it down. And again, if you can add a little bit of butter if it's too dry. And it can be dry just a little bit because it, you know, once you crumble it up, it does air out just a bit. But you just spray. Just not a lot, just enough to it's not really going to affect the flavor. Although the butter would add another rich, you know, another layer of richness to it, but I just don't want to put the butter in there. Okay. Put this down like that. Okay, so now that I've got this pretty much scooched down so I can squeeze it out of the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and cut that and hold it loosely and then just squeeze. Bam, 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 bam. Much easier this way. Don't have to really mess with it, just much easier. this, oh, this batter is so good. I mean, you really can't eat a lot of it due to the raw egg in it, but man, it just, it does. It tastes so good. You can really taste the cream cheese in there. Put a little bit more in this one. And see that 16 ounces, you can cut it in half if you just want just one container, but you can see that 16 ounces makes just enough for two rounds here. And kind of spread that around so it looks at least a little pretty. All right, and then I'm gonna spread a little more graham cracker on top. Okay, and then going to put a little paper towel over this one, like that. Gonna wrap it. Get this out of the way because I don't need that no more. Okie dokie. Now we're going to go ahead and stick that like that and close this right here. We're gonna stick it in the big boy. We've got almost 2 cups of water in there. Gonna stick this in the big boy just like that. My seal, I'm gonna make sure that I check my seal. My seal is on tight. I have my knob there and nothing is obstructing this. And I have it on sealing and not venting. So it looks good, everything looks good, nothing's obstructing here, nothing, so it should be good to go. So usually if you check all of those things before, if you just get into the habit of checking those things before you start your pressure cooking, you're gonna see that you're hardly ever going to have an issue with it. This is the main important thing right here, and your seal. You know, again, this will rise, and just before the pressure sets, you're going to see this shaking. You're going to see it spitting out a little bit, not enough to do anything. That's normal, because once it builds up the pressure, then that will start getting unstable and shaking a little bit, and then you'll hear it. You just hear it. And when it does that, then it's pressurized, and then your timer will come on. So don't panic if the timer doesn't come on right away, if it just says on, because it's got to build the pressure. And then when you hear that, then you'll hear beep, and then it's letting you know that your timer's on. So we're going to go ahead and turn it on, and we're going to set it for 8 minutes, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and push pressure cook, or if you have the manual, you can push the manual. Because I did the egg bites earlier, it is already set at 8 minutes, so I'm just going to let it go. And I'm going to clean up this mess, and then we're going to come back and do some fudge brownie bites. Oh, yes, fudge brownie bites. And they're going to be like little muffins, but oh man, so they are good. All right, so in 8 minutes we'll see. Oh no, you got a natural release. So when this is done, we're going to let it natural release for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and between 5 and 10 minutes. And then if there's anything else, we'll do a quick release on that. But at least going to let it set 5 minutes. I go 8 minutes in between. I'm not, I'm one or the other, so I'm going to get in the middle. So anyways, we'll see you in a few, see how pretty they turned out. And then what the next step is, because they do have to chill. Okay, so we did yogurt, we have done egg bites, and we've done the cheesecake bites, and they are ready now. I did let them sit for 14 minutes, natural release, and when I came back to the Instapot, it was all ready to go. So I haven't opened it yet, so let's take a look inside. Oh, I'm excited to see them, because remember, I didn't have the bars or the solid form of cream cheese, the whipped cream cheese. So we went with it just to see, did it work or did it not? So let's take a look and see, how did they turn out? Woo! So, you know, when we open this, we're not gonna see anything but the foil. And let me just stick that right there. All right, you can, I don't know if y'all know that, but you can always put your handle right there. So, and it'll drip, that water will go in, and then there's this little thing right here that connects to the back, and it will drip into that. Okay, so let's go ahead and take these out. All right, I'm gonna push this bad boy out of the way. He's my big boy, not my bad boy. He's my delicious boy. All right, so I've got a plate. Normally, when you cool these, you'd want to keep them in the silicone things, but because I'm going to make brownies, I've got to make brownies next. I'm going to take them out and put them on a plate and let them warm up a little bit. I mean, just get to room temperature just a little bit, and then I'll put them in the refrigerator here in a minute. But for now, we're just going to take these off and see how they come out. How did they come out? Oh, they look like they did okay. I'm gonna reuse that foil for. Take a look, take a look. They look like they came out. Okay, so we're gonna set that one right there, and let's take a look at the next one. It's like opening a Christmas present or something, or a birthday present. Woo. All right, so let's see. I got a birthday coming up next week. Next Wednesday, in fact, is my birthday. So I'm just waiting to see what new Instapot goodies I'm going to get. Everybody knows, give me Instapot, give me Instapot. All right, so here you go. Here's, there was a little moisture on this one, as you can tell, but it doesn't look like it affected. Look how pretty those are. Aren't those pretty, pretty, pretty? So they are a little warm, and I hope, I'm just gonna try to lift one. If it doesn't look like it's gonna work out too well, then I may wait for them to cool for a little bit before I take them out. Because normally, yeah, that's not, they haven't set up enough. So we're gonna just go ahead and let them, I might stick them in the freezer for a minute because I need to make my brownies. But when I come back to make the brownies, I'll take them out and then you can look at them then. But yeah, they're still kind of too soft to take out. So we'll do that. So look at our cheesecake. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So creamy. Oh, look. Just look. Look how creamy. Oops, didn't mean to drop that. But this really is a very creamy cheesecake. So if you like cheesecake, this is definitely the recipe for you because it is so good. And you don't need an Instapot to cook these in. If you can bake this in a regular oven, you can still use the same recipe and just bake it in the oven. But it is very, very creamy, very creamy.